I've never had that sort of light bulb over the head moment where suddenly the whole thing falls into place. How and why a novel forms in my head is hard to say, but generally a central kind of problem comes into play, which gets formed into a storyline, and also I find the narrator at that point. And it's usually about 6 months of what I would call back of the head work before I actually start to write. And then when I start to write, well, frankly, I don't really know what I'm doing, which is rather interesting. I think what interests me is to write big stories, which make people stay up half the night when it comes to reading them. But what interests me most of all is human mess. How and why we construct lives for ourselves that we frequently don't want. How and why we entrap ourselves into situations that make us unhappy. Modern anxiety is, I think, my primal theme, because like everyone, I'm also anxious. When writing a novel, I have an idea of the ending, but it always changes when I finally get there, because the entire trajectory of the book has changed during the course of writing. Are there happy endings? Yes, there are in fairy tales. In life, it's usually more kind of bittersweet, I think. Life is a bittersweet business because it has a tragic aspect to it and also a magical aspect to it. I think my endings are quite realistic and quietly optimistic, in the sense that I think in life, and especially if you've been through very difficult events, and always in my novels, people have been through their own personal hells, the only choice you have is to carry on, and also to try to sort of find some meaning in what's happened to you. I think that's another thing as well. One of the few lines of Karl Marx I like is that history repeats itself. The first time is tragedy, the second time is farce. I think sadly that's very true.